start to put tension on my string drawback, I was like, okay, I'm gonna smoke.
It's him. You can look at the horns when he's dead. I'm in the zone. Let the arrow go is perfect.
When they lose their front doors, you start, that's how you know they're smoking.
Went about 5-10 more yards. He probably went 20 yards, a little step then we tried to get back up. I saw him pull up.
We rushed 4 meters rods that night. We got like 166 and something like that, and then the next day we came up to 163 even.
You're listening to the White Cat Outdoors podcast, bringing you to the table where we talk about the outdoors.
What's up, everybody? Another installment of the White Cat Outdoors podcast. Thanks for joining us at the table for another deer camp series, and it's a big buck story.
It is. Big time. I can't wait.
Yeah, we're all excited. Tom's excited.
Very.
Yeah, never been more excited, probably.
So who is it? I mean, who put a buck down?
It's tough to say who it is. I mean, you talked a lot of shit on me for not getting the job done, and then I killed a doe. So did I get it done twice in a row?
I don't know. Did we get enough rage in you to just go out and lay a buck down too?
Yeah.
Tom, did you shoot a buck?
No.
So it wouldn't be about you. And I didn't shoot a buck.
That only leaves one of us, Nick. And
Oof.
that's me. I managed to get it done. You started talking shit, and I started putting the work in. So.
Hey, sometimes it works.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Got to light a fire under his ass.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got the job done. I put a buck down up in New York.
Up at the headquarters, is that right?
That is exactly right.
Wow.
It was a great hunt.
I tell you what, it's been a hell of a season up there.
It has been. We've been just killing stuff left and right.
Yeah. So, Frank, why don't you break it down, from the start of the day and what happened?
It was Friday, right?
It was a Friday.
Yeah,
it was
right after.
We went up Thursday night after Thanksgiving.
Yes, after we had dinner.
Just full of Thanksgiving farts.
Yeah, it was a good time. So we had a packed camp too. We had the whole gang.
It was
up
full
there.
camp. Yeah, 5 guys.
Yeah, and
Burgers and fries.
Yes, and the morning was rather slow. We didn't really have a whole lot going on in the morning.
Morning sucked.
Yeah,
it was blowing about 20-mile-an-hour winds, like rain that was like freezing when it touched earth.
Yeah, it was a shit morning.
Yeah,
it was cold and wet, no doubt.
And I did learn that my waterproof clothing is no longer waterproof.
No longer.
Yeah, not even close. Like,
no.
Tom was soaked right to his long johns.
I stayed dry. I had my nice rubber rain gear on, but
I stayed dry. Like, my inner layers were dry. My exterior layer was soaked, but it didn't get through. So I'd say it did all right.
Yeah, but yeah, it was definitely a rough morning. We saw. Collectively, between all of us, we saw very few deer.
Yeah, it was slow for everybody.
Yeah, and your dad actually stayed out all day. He did an all-day sit.
He packed
he braved the rain and
a foot long and
didn't bitch out like we all did.
I just couldn't take it. I was planning on sitting all day, and then about 9 o'clock, figured I'd waited long enough, so I ate my sub. And then Austin texted and said, I just got back to camp. Tom and Frank are already here. And I'm like,
that wasn't at 9 o'clock. It was like 10 o'clock.
Well, I ate my sub at 9.
Oh.
And then later I got this text. And I was like, well, if they're all back at camp, might as well. They might need a hand with something. I don't know. Like, yeah. I didn't want to get down, but
you never know. And we don't have spotty service. So.
Could we pause real quick? We forgot a very key detail of Thursday night. When me and you went up Thursday morning, pulled all of the cards, and did a full camera reveal.
Well, I guess we could talk about that.
Yeah.
You have some news to share?
Well, the main thing I wanted to share was we talked about our New York gun opener, and we found out had Nick stayed in his stand all day long, like he planned on, there was a really nice 8-point, probably 50, 60 yards away?
Yeah.
About 3 o'clock?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I did drop my gun that morning, so like I would have felt sick if I was there and he walked by, I tried to shoot and miss. So it made...
blessing in disguise, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then the buck I hit in bow season, we got video of him running around like a wild man, chasing doe, looking healthy as ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big scar on his shoulder.
Yeah. That's always a good feeling because it makes you sick when you hit one and you don't know what happened to it. He disappears, and then when you finally get him back on camera, it's a big sigh of relief that he's...
Yeah, and it was good to see him not with a giant infection or all skinny. I mean, he was running around, not limping.
Yeah, chasing does, putting heavy weight on his front shoulder. He was doing good.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption.
No, it was important stuff. It all happened, for sure.
So we knew going into the Friday morning hunt
There's a
that
couple good
there was
bucks.
a lot of good bucks left on the farm.
Which is new at this property.
Yeah.
In the past, we usually do not see good bucks this late into the year. But I think with working with food plots and planting trees and logging, all of that combined has made a lot better habitat, and they're sticking around longer.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's jump back in. We all met back at camp about 10:30 or so. And Frank, I'll let you take it from there since this is your deer camp series.
So we just kind of hung out and got a little bit of a plan together. We all were kind of hemming and hawing.
What was that one show we were watching?
Maury.
No,
it was...
where they get these couples up on stage and this guy interviews them and then a fight breaks out.
It was
Maury.
like... No, it wasn't. We were watching a different one.
Steve Wilco?
Yeah, it was it was one of
I'm
those...
pretty sure it was Maury, not
No,
Wilco.
Maury was on the... It was
Later?
earlier. It was earlier or later. I don't remember.
It's probably Steve
Maury
Wilco.
was on at some point, but it wasn't Maury at this time. But anyway,
How is that important, Tom?
it was
because
not.
we're just talking about the afternoon.
It was
Watching
not
little Steve Wilco talking about our hunt.
Channels are limited up there.
very limited.
We did get the title fight the night before though, so
Yeah.
that was good. Balboa versus Creed, so always good for that.
Yeah.
So there we were talking about
putting a game
putting
plan
a game plan together, watching Steve Wilco.
and
This podcast is brought to you by White Cat Outdoors.
Bringing you to the table while we talk about the outdoors. Find us on Instagram at whitecat_outdoors. Find us on Facebook at Whitecat Outdoors.
And listen to the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. White Cat Outdoors. And we're back.
That's a new thing. We're doing commercial breaks now.
Yeah.
so we're getting a plan together, and in the morning, we always like to do this fun thing where no one wants to say where they're going. We all just
Especially Austin, being
like-
the new guy in camp. He refuses to tell people
But he
where
has a
wants to go.
spot picked
That's
out
what I
in
mean.
his
Yeah,
mind.
he refuses to say what he wants to do because he doesn't want to take
Be the
somebody.
one, yeah.
or I'm like, Austin, just pick a damn stand.
Yeah, so we were doing that in the morning. Everyone's like, "Where are you going?" I don't know. And finally, I picked first in the morning. I was like, "All right, I'm going here." And then everyone, and Austin went last, I think. So then when we were picking spots for the afternoon, I was like, "All right, Austin, I picked first in the morning. You're picking first in the afternoon." He's like, "All right." So we all figured out where we wanted to go, and all moved out, got set up, and I got a nice little spot. There was not a ton of tracks, but a decent number of tracks, some coyote tracks. I was hoping for a pretty promising evening, and it was getting to be about prime time, just after 4 o'clock, 4:15, 4:20, somewhere in there.
Final hour
4:20.
of shooting.
Yeah, and I hear a gunshot down kind of Austin's way.
I thought it was Austin because of where I was at. It was like right in line.
Yeah, and I thought it was too, because where he wasn't like 100% sure where he was going. He was taking his climber. So when you take a climber out or a mobile setup, you have a general area, but you might be here. You might
60 yards over.
Yeah,
You know,
you could end up anywhere in a general area.
right by Frank's stand. You never know.
I was almost certain that shot was someone in our group.
Yeah,
I
I
did
was too. So I hear this shot, and I'm like, "Oh, Austin must have shot." And I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll walk down there and help him out if he needs something." So I sit there for a minute waiting, and then bang, another shot goes off. I was like, "Oh, all right, he's got it done now."
2 shots, you're still confident.
Yeah, and then but they were spaced out, so I
Yeah.
was like, okay. And
He shot it,
Maybe he
went
got down.
Yeah.
Got a follow-up shot.
so then about a minute later, another shot. I was like, "What the hell is he doing over there?"
And I'm texting Austin every time. Is that you? Is that you?
what are you doing
Is that
over
there? Because he wasn't answering because there's no
Yeah.
service. But I still.
Yeah, and I knew he didn't have service over there. That's why I was just going to walk over there. And then a fourth shot rings out, and this one definitely
Came with a boom.
This one was not at a deer. This one, someone was shooting tannerite, and it made a hellacious boom. Anyone that shot tannerite before knows what that's about. So
I felt it in my chest, and I was at least 500 yards away.
yeah, it was a big one. And I, knowing now where like the people were shooting, I was like directly behind
the backstop
where they were shooting.
So I guess to break this down real quick to give people an idea, our property is like a staircase. And where Frank's at is like he's on our property, but another section comes in, so it's
Like a
they're
staircase.
Yeah, they're shooting like into our property, but not.
Yeah,
It's
they're
weird.
not doing anything wrong or illegal.
I mean, it's unfortunate to shoot tannerite at 4:30 in the afternoon on gun season, but do your thing. It's your property.
Yeah, they weren't doing anything wrong, just being kind of dumb. So I'm standing there. I was like, okay, now that I know that this is not Austin and I am putting the pieces together, I was like, I do not want to be right here in the backstop getting, and obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but there's such a small chance that anything bad could happen, but still.
Why even take that small chance?
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want to be right in the line of fire, so I moved quite a bit, and the closest stand to me was a stand that Austin put up this summer. Like, it was his first year in camp, so he put this one stand up, and he hunted it religiously in archery for like with the first 3 weeks of the season. He was there all the time. He had a mock scrape over there. He had a cell cam over there. He was investing some time in this spot, and it was just not working out for him. He was having very little activity over there, and the camera, he had a few bucks on camera early, but it went kind of dead recently. So he kind of gave up on the spot, and no one had really hunted over there right at the stand. People were in the, around the area, but not right over there. And so I was like, well, I know where Tom's at, Nick's at, Uncle Todd's at. The closest spot to me that I wouldn't be messing with anybody is to just jump in Austin's stand. I'm out of the line of fire with the tannerite. So I hopped up in there, and it was after 4:30 when I climbed up in that stand.
So you're talking half hour to 45 minutes of shooting.
Yeah, exactly. There was not a lot of time left. And honestly, I kind of figured that my night was basically over, but...
just chill there till dark.
Yeah, exactly. So I climb up in the stand, and it wasn't 10 minutes later, a little spike comes walking down the hill. I was like, all right, yeah, a little bit of action. That was more than I was anticipating after what was going on, so I was pretty excited. And he moves on through, and a few minutes after that, it wasn't terribly long, but I didn't have a whole lot of light left. I hear some more deer coming, and it was a spike and a real little fawn. And I have never heard a deer bleat as much as this fawn. It was like she just lost her mom, and she was trying to find her mom, just blah, 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 non-stop. Every 2 seconds was long, drawn-out bleats. I was like, what is going on?
She probably was looking for mom.
Yeah, but I don't think she, it's not like she just got shot or something. Like, there was no shooting or anything, and she was with her brother, that Spike. And so they're coming down the hill, and with all the noise she's making, I was like, well, maybe she'll bring someone with her. And they're playing around right in front of me for a couple minutes, and then I heard something else farther up the hill. I was like, oh, that's got to be a buck. And I couldn't quite see him yet, and I'm trying to see through the trees, and
it's thick over there.
Yeah, it's right, on the hillside where it just got logged. There's a bunch of tops. I can't really see too far. But I can see the deer start working down, and then I catch a glimpse of his cage. I was like, oh, man, he's
game time.
He looks pretty good. So he's working, and finally I get a good look at him. I was like, okay, he's getting the hammer. He's done. And works right to this little fawn that's just bleating her head off. I was like, oh, baby. And pull up, squeeze off, and smoked him. He was cooked. And Tom texted me and was like, was that you? Making sure it wasn't the tannerite guys again. And so he came down, and it was quite a drag. It was pretty much as far away as you can be from any road, and it's the shittiest spot to drag.
Good thing you had help.
If I had to guess, I would say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 850 some yards.
Yeah, I would also guess it to be about that. And it's through the tops, and a crick, and it's not a fun drag.
No, it's about as bad of a drag as you can get.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I would not want to do it by myself.
No,
that would
suck.
Yeah, not even a little bit of fun there. But thankfully, I had you guys, and it was all good. So Tommy helped me drag it out, and Nick didn't do a thing.
I drug
it
at the
was a
end.
joke. Why don't you calm down?
I just want credit where credit's due.
The last 40 yards, Nick
You had
helped.
help getting this deer out.
Yes, I did. You guys definitely helped and made my life a lot easier. But
That's
what
the
friends
nice
are
thing.
for,
We're
though.
always there to help drag out a deer when someone gets
yeah,
one.
no matter what, we'll always be there.
Yeah, it's really nice to have buddies.
Yeah,
for that.
And you actually, as people are listening to this, you did make a post about
Good friends, yeah.
having good friends. That was actually a picture of us dragging that particular deer. So
Yeah.
thankful for you guys. It was a good time, great hunt. And I'm thankful for Austin because he actually, you guys heard him if you've listened to the podcast a few weeks ago, he shot a bear out of my stand.
So it became the bear stand. It was always Frank's double.
Yeah. So we had to, it was just called Frank's double just because it
It didn't have a name, but then that
nothing,
name kind of sticks.
nothing crazy had happened there yet. It was
Yeah.
just a double stand that I put up. So it's Frank's double. But then
That's kind of how
Austin-
stands are. You just, like they get a very generic name until something happens.
Yeah. And Austin went over there and shot a bear out of my stand, so now it's the bear stand. And I went over and shot a buck out of his stand, and it was funny. Tom came over and was helping me out, and Nick and Austin made their way back to the truck and had cell service, and we had service where I was at, and I was gutting my deer, and Nick called Tom, and Nick didn't know where I was at this point.
Yeah,
Because
last I knew, you were at the swamp.
Yeah. So Tom was like, "Oh, Frank just shot a buck out of his ladder."
And I was like, I was in Frank's ladder. It's impossible.
But Tom had already renamed Austin's stand without even talking to anybody, so that was kind of funny. Good time.
So then I pick up Austin, and he's like, hey, what happened? I was like, Frank shot a buck out of his ladder. And he's like, you were in Frank's. I'm like,
Not anymore, buddy.
it was your ladder, but now it's Frank's. He's like, are you kidding me? He's like, I thought he was going to the swamp. And I was like, well, he was, but that tannerite, he ended up moving. And he's like, oh man, like he was super happy for
Oh
it,
yeah,
obviously.
he was just having a good time.
Yeah.
So it was, but the way it worked out, he was hunting that stand so much, and then as soon as he gives up on it, I go and shoot a buck out of it. It was kind of amusing.
It's kind of like Nick's ladder. It's
Yeah,
now,
Yeah.
He
we
finally-
still call that Nick's ladder. I don't know why.
even though you shot the biggest buck
It
on
just
the farm
stuck.
out of
It was Nick's ladder for a decade.
long time.
So
And I don't think you ever shot a deer out of it.
no, I missed one. I got a broadhead stuck in a tree over there.
That's my ladder.
But you had your chance to rename it and you didn't.
Yeah, it's been
I've
over.
been calling it my ladder ever since I
He
shot
actually,
a buck
that's
out
not.
of it.
It's not a lie. He has been doing
Yeah.
that.
I guess.
And you didn't even hang that.
Yeah,
we
that was
inherited
a-
that stand. It was
You
already
just
up.
claimed it.
Yeah, it's a good hangover stand.
Well, when me and Nick first got the property, there was 2 stands on it. There was that stand and then the green platform.
And Tom and I would go to the ladder. Tom would go to the platform, and that was that.
That was it.
Yeah, we didn't do anything other than that. We would just go hunt those 2 stands.
They
I
seemed
would-
like good spots.
Yeah. So yeah, that was. What else, Frank?
That was about it. We got it all taken care of, and it was a good time. We all had a blast. And then you were asking us to stay up there that night, and we were like, we're not, because
Yeah, I was
that
like, we
was
should
Friday
celebrate.
night, and we had PAs
Pennsylvania gun opener.
on Saturday. Nick's like, to hell with that. Let's get drunk. And we're like, nah, we got to go back and do some hunting.
I mean, I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast or not, but if you do, you know that I already killed a buck in PA.
Yeah.
So I couldn't hunt opening day a gun. So I was like, let's just get friggin' drunk and hang out at camp and do this
to
upright.
hell with everybody else's PA buck tag. Nick
Yeah.
doesn't have one. That means nobody
Yeah,
has
might as well
one.
nobody have one. But I couldn't convince you guys.
No.
So
And honestly, it probably would have been just the same if I would have came up. I did see one decent buck, but nothing I wanted to shoot Saturday for the PA gun opener.
yeah. But so yeah, I ended up. I was like, you know what? We got a buck down. I'm not gonna stay up here by myself. You know, I'll come home with you guys. We got her all caped out, and then we went to the bar. Celebrated a little bit. I did a lot of celebrating actually.
It was definitely the tradition of rifle. It was, you got the full circle. It wasn't like archery season where
Yeah, we don't really drink that much before
I mean,
archery hunting.
I'm not saying that, but like
Well, Tom,
rifle
this-
definitely has a different feel to it.
Oh,
yeah.
no
for
doubt.
sure.
It's
And-
much easier to rifle hunt hungover than it is to bow hunt.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in a nice summit climber, take a nap,
Yeah, tough to
pack a
beat it.
lunch. Mm-hmm.
Well, good. Frank, congratulations on a great buck.
Yeah, so keep talking shit, and I might do it in PA too.
You might just have to.
I didn't kill 2 bucks last year, but the year before and the year before that, I killed 2 bucks. So maybe I'll get back on that track.
So you killed 2 bucks 2 years ago, and Tom killed 2 bucks last year.
And I killed 2 bucks 3 years ago.
Man, I'm slacking.
Yeah, you haven't done it once.
Man,
Never.
Why don't you just kill 2 bucks, Nick?
I should.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
I
and Tom
should
do
because-
it all the time.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Maybe if I really, really try, maybe I could make it happen.
Really put your nose to the grindstone, as they say.
Yeah. I'll follow myself to Virgie and see if I can't find another buck.
I hope you can, buddy.
That'd be great. But I guess on that note, congratulations again, Frank.
Appreciate it.
Awesome story. Great to be a part of.
Luckily, I didn't get shot.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I just love deer hunting. So,
Can't beat it.
yeah, I guess I don't know what else to say. I just love deer hunting so much.
You remind me of that kid, the fried chicken. It's fried chicken.
Yeah, I got
Out
nothing
here in the
else to say.
freezing cold.
Tom, any closing remarks on Frank's buck?
No.
No, nothing at all. We're not even drinking. This is bad. I get rifle seasons in full swing. So I hope you guys have great luck. And if you haven't, just make sure you guys are still getting outside.